Morning, this is Brian. Today is August 26, 2018. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's Sunday, and I'm up here in the San Gabriels again. I'm at the same trailhead that I was the last time I came here when I did Peak 6629, which is up on that ridge. But today, I'm planning on hiking up to Delight and Double Delight, which was in my plan for the last time I came here, but I ended up just going up to 6629 due to some time constraints and stuff like that. I'm going to be heading up this way. It's going to be a fair amount of cross-country hiking today. I'm planning on getting on a road that goes up. There's supposed to be like a road, like an old dirt road or some pathway that loops around and goes up, and then it goes up somewhat of it goes in a, I would say, it goes in a southeasterly direction till about 6,800 feet. And then it's supposed to curve and go that way. And once it starts curving to the southwest, that's where I leave the trail and start heading southeast up the ridge. And once I get to the ridge, then it's just a matter of finding exactly where Delight and Double Delight is, or where they are. And yeah, I know there'll be the highest peaks in the immediate vicinity, but I know as you're heading west towards Waterman Mountain, which is not that much further to the west, I know from there, there's another peak that's a bit over 7,600 feet, I believe, and that's not it's neither Delight nor Double Delight. Delight will be closer, and Double Delight will be just a little bit further along the ridge. So, it should be an interesting day. It's been 3 weeks since I've been in the mountains. My last video was when I did Sherman Peak in the San Gabriel. I mean, oh my God, the Sherman Peak in the Sierras, and then I did a video in the Trail of 100 Giants in the Sequoia National Forest, which is not super far from there. So it's good to be back in the mountains. That was at the beginning of the month, and now we're almost at the end of August. And good opportunities for hiking have been hard to come by in the last few weeks. My work schedule has been pretty sucky, to say the least. And I mean, it's still not that great right now. Normally I only really hike when I have back-to-back days off. First day, I go hiking, get all sweaty, dirty, tired, and then the next day I just kind of hang back, relax, and get ready to go back to work. But again, I had to work yesterday, which is Saturday, and tomorrow I work again. But I was really desperate to get out because it's been a few weeks, and I need my my conifer fix. I need to see some Jeffrey pines, some incense cedars, some sugar pines, white firs. I really need to get to the mountains and I need to get there pretty badly. So I'm glad I'm here today. Well, started recording video at the trailhead. This is Brian again. I'm in the San Gabriel Mountains. It's about 8:15 on August the 26th, 2018. I'm parked down there at Angeles Crest Highway. This is the known as the John Henge Trailhead. It's just a few miles west of Waterman and a few miles east of Santa Clara Divide Road, so it's kind of in between. We're about an elevation of 6,300 feet. I did an introduction video, but my card filled up and I couldn't do it. I had to delete some of my previous items that I thankfully put on my computer. My goal today is to head up to Delight and Double Delight Peak, which will be along this ridge somewhere. It's kind of hard to see with the sun glaring. Along this way. I mean, the John Henge trailhead is really not marked as such. There's a restroom and a few sets of benches and a very wide turnout. Last time I was here in the San Gabriels, I parked at that same trailhead and hiked up to Peak 6629, which is back that way on the other side. Today I'm trying to hit up Delight and Double Delight. So I have a little bit more of a challenging hike this time because I got more elevation gain. Well, right at the eastern end of the parking lot is a dirt road, which I'm on right now. And basically what I'm going to be doing is trying to work my way up to about 6,850 feet in elevation. From there, as I go up along this way, I'm gonna follow some kind of a path that goes to the southeast. Once it gets to about the 6,800 foot level, it's gonna curve to the southwest, and then that's where I'm gonna leave the trail to head to the southeast and climb up the ridge, and that's where it's going to get pretty tough, I'm assuming. And I believe this is going to be the path. Not really familiar with this area, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. And it looks like the dirt road keeps going along this way, so this is where I'm going to start heading up, because I looked at Google Earth. It's pretty narrow. It's a little more narrow of a trail than it is on a dirt road, so this is where I'm going to be heading up. This is the first time I've been hiking in about 3 weeks. My last hike was Sherman Peak in the Sierra Nevada, and the next day I went to the Trail of 100 Giants and poked around there. So those are my last videos. Now it's around the 4th and the 5th. Today's the 26th. So this will be my first hike in 3 weeks, so I'm going to be definitely a little bit slower today because I'm not in the best of shape. My work schedule's really been pretty poor. Usually I do my hikes when I have vacation or when my days off are together, allowing me to hike on my first day, get tired, worn out. Next day, coast, relax, take care of whatever I need to take care of, and then rest up for work the next day. But I don't have that luxury. I haven't had that luxury in a few weeks, and I won't for another 2 more weeks. But I get so desperate to get out, so tired of being at home and laying around on my days off being lazy. Just had to get out, so pick today. This is not going to be a super long hike, at least as far as I could tell, but just enough to get me out of the house and get me some elevation. So I will see you along the way for interesting plant finds and updates of where I'm heading, whether I hit the mark or I miss the mark. But as long as I can get to the ridgeline, I'm pretty sure I can make it to the Delight and Double Delight peaks. Pretty sure I can handle that. It's going to be a bit of steep cross-country hiking, though, so I'm going to have to gain about a good 700 feet from the trail, leaving the trail and the peak, but done it before, I can do it again. So I'll see you along the way. I'm on a north-facing slope, so I'm loving it right now. Surrounded by some pretty lush Jeffrey pines, some white firs, mostly smaller ones. And it looks like there's a decent sized sugar pine over there. So being on a north facing slope is a good thing. It's a little cooler, it's a bit shadier, and lots of beautiful trees. And that's what I'm about. That's why you never see me trying to climb Mount Everest or any of those super high peaks, because ain't no trees on them. Ain't no trees on them. So sometimes it's just better to go where the trees are. There's a small coulter pine right here. Young Pinus coulteri. For the most part it's Jeffrey pine. You can tell these are Jeffrey pine cones. They're decent sized, but they're not nearly as large as those, the coulters. So I'll see you along the way. I'm gonna snap some photos, kind of enjoy the stretch here. I'll see you along the way. Came about 200 feet of gain so far. Still see the highway. Probably be near the highway most of the hike, even up on the ridge. But I can see Peak 6629. That's the one I climbed back in mid-July. And then there's another 6,600 foot peak. That was another peak that I climbed on that day back in July. And I can see Valcrest rocks. See if I can get a better vantage point through the trees. But those rocks at the last peak are actually called Valcrest rocks. I had heard of them previously, so I've known about them, but when I went to them, I didn't know that those were Valcrest rocks until I watched CA hikers videos on YouTube, California hikers videos. He and his buddy were trying to climb up them, but those are Valcrest rocks right there. That's about 6,500 feet, maybe a little bit lower. But again, Valcrest rocks, 66 something. I did a little class 2 on there. There's 6629, and there's the first little bump I visited, which is a little over 6,600 as well. So gaining elevation at a pretty good clip. It's not extremely steep, but it's definitely enough to make you puff and huff and puff just a little bit. But this is extremely beautiful scenery here. I haven't even been up to the summit or even the ridgeline yet, and I can already highly recommend this. Even if you don't even bother going to the ridge like I'm planning on, it's definitely a scenic north-facing slope here. Trees aren't really large because this is a pretty dry area, but God, is it beautiful here. lots of beautiful scenery. And me, you know me, I'm very partial to hiking in mountains. Most of my videos take place in mountains. I mean, I've done hills and canyons, but I really love hiking in mountains. Mountains really have a special place in my soul. But yeah, there's a really good view of 6629. Well, I'm going to continue up this old road bed. It became a double track again as I followed it up. But as I get to here, it looks like we got a single track going that way and the road bed going that way. So I might have to contemplate that for a minute. I believe I'm going to be heading left though. So I'll see if that gets me closer to the ridge. But I'll see you down the way with more updates, finds, interesting things. At least they are to me. See you along the way. Well, heading to the left kind of brought me to a dead end. So I'm gonna go back, continue on this this path right here, going right. So going left will just take you to the end of a pathway. So I'm gonna head up this way, and I'll keep you posted. Gotta conserve battery power because I only have one more set of double A's. So I think this is gonna be more of a picture hike than a video hike, but I'll keep you posted along the way. Just went off the path just a little bit to poke around. Nice hefty canyon live oak right here, Quercus chrysolipus. Not really tall, but you can see it's got a humongous root burrow down there, and got some decent trunks. I mean, usually you don't see trunks quite this large, this high up, about 6,000. I think we're not quite at 6,600 feet quite yet. But we're pretty close. We're still about maybe about 65-50. So still making my way up, and just wanted to see this beautiful oak right here, beautiful tree. I'm gonna keep following the roadbed, or whatever you want to call it, and then follow it up to that ridge there. And once you get on the ridge, it's just a matter of finding the peak. Well, I'll see you along the way. Like I said, the roadbed seems to cross this little ditch right here. Although I had to follow this little use path down and up here, but then it's going to be going up that way. Like I said, I went off trail just to poke around and see a couple trees. I'll see you along the way for more interesting finds and updates. It's getting pretty lush over here. Sounds some willows and goldenrods and gooseberries popping up here and there. Must be some kind of underground moisture source. Maybe an underground spring or something, but it's getting pretty lush around here. A lot more grass cover and willows. And there's some beautiful incense cedars popping up too. Not much in the way of white fir though. Just a few here and there. But this is turning out to be a really, really beautiful, wonderful hike. Just say for some chance I didn't make it to any of the peaks, this would still be totally worth it. Just incredibly beautiful here. I'm probably closer to, definitely above 6,700 feet right now. Probably getting closer to 6,800 feet. I'm looking at Crest rocks. I'm quite a bit above them. Definitely significantly above 6629 and the other two peaks near it that are 6,600. So I'm probably getting close to 6,800 feet by now, if not already there. So that means I'm going to be looking for my cross-country route. I think I'm not sure yet. But no, not quite there yet. I'm going to be looking for a sharp bend to where it starts heading southwest. But incredibly beautiful here. Insanely beautiful. This is definitely turning out to be a lovely hike. Glad I came out here. But I'll see you at the cross-country junction pretty soon. kind of took a little stop off the trail for a minute. Trail's just maybe about 30 yards off. What I'm doing is just poking around, and well, I saw this huge boulder from the trail, and it looks a lot bigger from the other side because I just took this little path up. I was thinking, ooh, this might be class 4 climbing, but this looks like from this angle here, I don't know if it'll get you all the way to the top, but if you go up this way, you can do it in class 2, actually. Just a little hand and foot action. Looks like you can get some good holds. So I might, I don't know. I need to buy some sturdy gloves I could use for rock climbing, so I can get better at it. Because some summits I want to hit up are those with boulders at the top, which require class 2 and up. So that's another thing I need to improve is rock climbing skills. So figured I'd just point it out really quickly. I'm gonna go back on the trail in about a minute or two and keep hiking my way up. It's a serene hike. I mean, I think what's gonna happen now is that the trail is coming along this way, and then I see a use path heading this way, generally north. There's a use path going through here. I wonder if that would be a good way to go down, because Angeles Crest Highway is just over there. But I think the other use trail, it looks barely discernible, is going to start heading straight up there. So that's where the ridge climb is going to start beginning in earnest. So I'll see you back on the trail pretty soon, and it should be interesting to see. Just a quick update. Yeah, it's just a class 2. Class 2, if you come around the back side, come around that way, you'll find a fairly easy way to get up here. From here, that looks like class 4, looks like class 5. But the way I came up, you can make this a class 2 fairly easy to get up here. Just figured I'd just update that really quickly. Just wanted to take a stab at climbing this. Well, I'm gonna start heading back to the trail and make my climb up. See you along the way. Yeah, as I've said, I just came up this way from the pathway. That's before I went and did that class 2 boulder climb. Now it looks like I'm gonna have to go up this way. It's gonna be very steep. The trail comes from over there. I see footprints actually, so I believe this is part of that use trail or whatever you want to call it. There's also a use trail that goes downhill from near the boulder. So I'm gonna go climb up this slowly and steadily, and then see if this indeed takes me to my location. But I do see occasional footsteps here, so apparently people hike this. So we'll see. See you along the way. Well, after climbing southeast up that really steep slope, come upon looks like an old roadbed again. So apparently my intuition paid off. It's really not much of a trail. I mean, I see signs of footsteps and an occasional faint path. But I'll tell you, that was a steep one. So I'm just going to keep following this. So I don't think the cross-country part has come up yet. So, see you there. Well, the roadbed disappeared again. So I've been walking for about 100 yards, basically cross-country. But there is a small semblance of a little trace of maybe, not so much a trail, but maybe a faint game path or some sort. But I know pretty soon I'm going to be climbing cross country to gain the ridge up ahead. Just watch your footing along this cross country stretch here, because it's a little slippery at times. So I'm just going to keep following this side of the ravine, and then I guess I'm just going to start climbing straight up once I get over there. It's a little loose here, so just be careful. So, like I said, I'm just going to thread my way around this ravine. Maybe climb up a gully. See if the gully over here offers a decent, usable path for me. But yeah, I'm basically going cross country now. Though not even really a use trail, just a little climber's path. But yeah, once I round this gully here, I'll start looking for an ascent route to get up to the ridge line. So I'll see you then. Leave it to me to take the hard way. I ended up climbing up that gully. Really steep. Luckily there were enough pine cones on the ground for me to get some sort of traction, and a few rocks. But the lower portion of the gully, when I started going cross country, was really steep and my legs are tired. Come up here, find a little cairn. Can't see it from here, but a little cairn over there. So I was thinking, okay, there must be a use trail around here. Sure enough, here's a path, and I see footprints on it. So I think on the way back down, I'm going down this way. This is probably one of the peak bagger routes to get to the Delights. So maybe I can avoid having to go down that gully. I even put 2 or 3 rock ducks or rock cairns. So, you know, the one rock cairn is like, okay, this is the way I go back to the gully. And the other rock cairn is getting me back to the real slippery semi-path. But now I'm seeing rock ducks now. So I'm just going to follow this the rest of the way up. Boy, that was a tiring climb up the gully. Probably should have looked for a use trail, but didn't know whether I was going to find one. But there, right on top of this big rock, is a little rock duck. So, I guess I'll stick to the use trail. Kind of relieved in a way. It was very slippery coming up that gully. It's not a lot of fun. But I did it, I made it. So now I'm just about on the ridge line. I'll see you when I'm on the ridge line. Start seeing if I can find the peaks. See you on the ridge. Oh, still following the use trail. Getting really close to the crest of the ridge. Really close. And I keep finding occasional rock ducks. Little rock piles, rock cairns leading the way. So I'm just going to keep following this up till I get to the ridge and try to see if I can get my bearings as to where the peaks are. It's kind of a steep climb coming up, but it's much better on a good use trail. It's a pretty good use trail. The footing's fairly decent. Still watch out for some slippery spots, but much better. So I should be up at the crest really soon. When I get up there, I'll update you. I said I'm keeping my clips short because of my battery power. I only have one pair of batteries left. So I'll see you at the crest. Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I am at some kind of peak. I'm not gonna quite climb that boulder though. I came up a little ways. I'm at the peak of something. Not exactly sure, but pretty sure this is I'm almost like 98% certain this is not peak 7097 because I look like I'm higher than Pacifico, which is on the other, on the other side over there. You can't see it from the rocks being in the way. But I'm on the peak of something here. This could be Double Delight, but it's hard to be certain. I mean, it's a pretty decent summit plateau, so I'm not really sure. This could be Double Delight. I gotta putz around to find out more. I mean, there's a rock duck not that far from here, so this must be something. This could be Double Delight. I don't see any register or anything. I don't know if there is going to be one at the Delights. But I'm going to look around the ridge a little bit more, because there's another high point up ahead. So I'll go ahead and look around for that and keep you updated. Beautiful up here. Just came down from there. It looks like a metate or motero. It looks like a grinding hole. Interesting find. Here I'm gonna head in a generally easterly direction and see what these other little peaklets in the area have. I just had to switch batteries. The last clip got cut a little short. So I'm just gonna go ahead and walk along this ridge for a while and see if I can find any other indicators. So I'm gonna have to conserve this battery power so I can have time to take more pictures and stuff when I hike along this. So I'll see you along the way. At least I'm on the ridge, so it shouldn't be so much strenuous up and down. Or I'll see you along there and maybe I'll be able to confirm where I am. Well, I'm on another summit. So far I don't see any sign of any register can or anything. I don't know if the peaks would have it, but I know, well, I don't know actually. This might actually be one of the higher peaks to the east of the lights. I'm not so sure. When I go home, I'm going to look on the map and see if this peak is one of the Delights. How I'll know is I'm going to be able to line up Winston Peak here with Pallet Benchmark or Pleasant View Ridge Summit. If I can make a beeline from this peak to those on the map, I'll have a more definitive answer as to what peak I'm on. I'm on a peak. I'm on a mountain peak. This is the second one of the day, but I think this might actually be a little bit higher. I can't tell, but I might be closer to 7,600 feet. I think there's supposed to be about a 7,600 foot peak between the Delights and Waterman. I think there's a 7,600 foot peak or something like that. I know there are higher peaks as you head east towards Waterman. I think that's a false summit of Waterman. I don't think I am that close in elevation to Waterman, because Waterman just barely crests 8,000 feet. But I'm definitely above 7,500 feet. So whether I don't know exactly what to look for on the Delights. I don't think there are any survey markers, because they're not official USGS summits. But I am looking around for a register can if there is one. If I find one, then I'll know I'm on something. But I don't see any signs of that, so I'm just going to poke around these boulders for a few minutes. I'm on the peak of something. I wanted to get up to at least a peak or two today, so I did that. Just not sure exactly which peak this is. I know I'm in the area. That I know. I'm definitely in the area for the Delights. But I might be a little too far east. I guess what I'll have to do is, when I find my bearings on the maps, I'm going to definitely look up peakbagger.com, because I can use that map to align what peak is the one I'm standing on. I'm thinking about trying to go up there. I might give that a try, but I'm not sure. I know that's getting much closer to Waterman, but I don't think it's quite Waterman, but I'm not sure. I think there's supposed to be a couple of higher summits on the way there, but I'll keep poking around for a short while. Yeah, I know I'm at the east end, the high point of this portion of the ridge, and then it looks like it goes down maybe about 50, 60, 70 feet, and then it resumes climbing up towards Waterman itself. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me look at Twin Peaks West. If I could see, I could barely see it through the Jeffrey pines. I'm trying to see if I believe that I'm higher than that, then I know I passed them. Twin Peaks West is right there. Twin Peaks East is just barely in view behind this Jeffrey pine. I'm looking at Twin Peaks West, and it looks like I am at the very least level with it. I might actually be a slight bit higher. So Twin Peaks West is 7,596 feet. So if I'm slightly higher than that, then this is definitely a 7,600 plus foot peak here. But I can't quite get a good shot of Twin Peaks West, but from what I can see, it's about level with that. Yeah, I think I might be a little too far east for the Delights. I probably passed over one of them unwittingly on the way here, because they're not the high points along the ridge. This is not even the full high point. Obviously, Waterman Mountain is the real high point along this ridge. It's the only peak that's 8,000 feet. So, well, I got to the peak of something. Not exactly sure what peak this is, but kind of glad I went up it. Pretty sure I passed over at least one or maybe even both of the Delights. But like I said, I didn't expect to see any summit registers at any of the outcrops, and I didn't for certain. I didn't see any signs that those were the delights. They probably were, but I know there's the ridge gets higher, not that far east of them, and that's where it starts doing so. There's Twin Peaks West. Once I get down this from this summit here, I'll have a better beeline angle on Twin Peaks West. Won't be quite as many trees in the way. I can still kind of gauge where I am elevation wise. There it is again. That's Twin Peaks West. Again, 7,596 feet. I feel like I'm a rough, almost level, maybe just slightly higher. So, yeah, that could be Waterman, or at least right near it. Oh well, interesting. Oh well. Oh, so I must have passed over them, because I know when I was at one of the western high points, there was nothing higher, or yeah, nothing about the same height. I was looking down towards what I believe is Peak 7097, which is quite a bit down underneath. So I'm guessing I passed over them. Interesting enough, I think I passed over them. Well, I'm gonna head west again. I don't think I'm gonna want to climb up Waterman today. Hiking up that gully made me tired, so I'm gonna keep heading back this way, check out those summit areas one more time. I'm pretty sure I passed over both of them, because I think this is a little bit high. Those two peaks are about 7,560, 7,570 feet. From that, I felt like I was a little bit over 7,600 feet. So I'll once I poke around and see what's going on, might have a better idea. Till then, I'm gonna give it a rest. Hey, well, here's another little mini summit. Not sure what it is, but well, guess I'll just have to visit every summit. I'm just not going to visit that one over there because there's a lot of poodle dog bush on it. I ain't taking that chance. I ain't that crazy. Maybe summit happy, but I ain't trying to rub up against that plant for any reason. There's a lot of it here in the San Gabriel still, even after all the fires. Still quite a bit of it up here. So even here, about 7,500 feet, you got to look out for it. I've seen it as high as just over 8,000 feet along the Pacific Crest Trail between Windy Gap and Hawkins Ridge Trail going to Mount Hawkins, and Windy Gap being near Mount Islip, just for reference. So between Mount Islip and Mount Hawkins, there's a stretch about 8,200 feet, give or take, some elevation, and there's a patch of poodle dog bush. I mean, it's not right on the trail. You kind of have to look off to your right. If you're heading eastbound, it's going to be on your right, and it's going to be kind of on the lip of the ridge as you're looking down the south-facing slope. And if you're coming from the opposite direction, like Dawson Saddle or one of those places, it'll be on your left. So even above 8,000 feet you can find poodle dog. Small colony, and it looks like it's starting to fizzle out. It's not a long-lived perennial. It's a perennial plant, maybe slightly semi-woody. I don't know if it really forms wood, but definitely very common. It lives for several years, but probably not much more than a decade as far as I know. Alright, I'm just going to hike along the water. I believe this is the Waterman Mountain trail, actually. I think this is the trail that comes from 3 Points. If you go all the way to 3 Points, not that far from the branching off to Santa Clara Divide Road and the Angeles Crest Christian Camp and Val Crest and all those other camps that are just off Angeles Crest near the Santa Clara Divide Road. So I'm just gonna rewalk this area a little bit. This is the general direction I came from. I'm just gonna keep walking and see if I can't find anything that'll click and say, yes, this is the light, or this is double the light. So pretty sure I passed over one or even both of them along the way to that peak that's about 7,600 feet. But I'll keep you in the loop as I find out more. Well, back at that first outcropping again. This has to be at least Delight. Delight would be the one to the west, and Double Delight would be the one to the east. So maybe that other peak was Double Delight, but it's hard to tell, especially considering the fact that it looked like it was higher than 7,600 feet. Double Delight's not supposed to be. But yeah, this was the rocky outcropping I was visiting earlier. So this has to be at least Delight, because I'm looking all around me. There's really nothing higher than this rocky outcropping. So this has to be Delight Peak. This has to be. I might have been on Double Delight. Probably was by default, because I kept going over the higher points along this ridgeline. So that other one might have been Double Delight, but I'm not sure. It's not that far, but it's far enough away to where it could possibly be Double Delight. Well, when I review the maps, I have to edit. Maybe put some text in when I figure out what peaks I've been really visiting today. But I'm gonna go find that shady rock. I'm gonna go sit over there, contemplate and relax, and then start heading back. See if I could find that use trail going down the mountain instead of trying to crab walk my way through the gully. Well, I'm just about back at the place, or the gully I should say, where I hiked up, which is down there. However, like I said, upon coming up here earlier, I came to this point where I saw a use path, and it looks like instead of having to go back down that, I think I see a use trail with footprints. So this should be a little bit better than going back down the gully. I think I would be more nervous going down the gully than going up it. So I'm going to follow this use trail and see where this leads. So far it's heading back down the mountain. As long as they can get me back to Angeles Crest Highway, which it sure looks like it does, then I'll be okay. Beautiful scenery up here, I'll tell you. Coming up here was definitely a good plan. Did a little bit of class 2 scrambling, a little bit, just a tiny bit. Did a lot of well, not a lot. I would say I walked very far along the ridge. Walked along the second highest portion of the ridge, coming from 3 points going up to Waterman. Was almost going to consider making an attempt at Waterman, but I really didn't feel like climbing a lot more today. But definitely a great place to go. Yeah, my Jeep will be down there somewhere. Can't really see it from here. I can't really see the turnout too well. But as long as I meet down with the highway, I'm okay. I don't mind if I have to walk a little bit down the highway. I know there's a spot where this, I think, goes right next to the highway. I'm going to follow this down, kind of make a, I don't know if you want to call it a balloon loop or some kind of looping hike. So I'm not going down the same way. It's just very steep coming down, so just watch your footing. It's a little loose, but it sure is absolutely stunning up here. So I love coming to the San Gabriels. You see Pacifico Mountain over there. I think I'm still a bit above it, so I got a lot of elevation to lose. Definitely more than 1,000 feet. Because climbing up, I must have gained probably close to 1,300 feet going up. This area is steep at times, but yeah, this use path going down is definitely steep. Going up this would definitely be a huff and puff hike. There are lots of use and game and footpaths, and even a trail that crisscrossed this general vicinity. So it's definitely good to be on the lookout. You know, remember where you parked. Look at landmarks. When I was going up the gully to find it, to make sure I'd be able to find it, I even put a couple small ducks along the way to make sure that I get back if I have to take the gully or I feel like I have to. But I think taking this way down will give me a little bit more of an adventure. So I'll see you down the way. I think I'm going to open up another water bottle because I'm a little warm. At least there's a breeze today, but the sun's kind of warm. See you along the way down the mountain. Well, as I'm looking over here in a westerly direction, there's a bouldery peak not that far from here. I'm pretty sure now that I was at least on one of the delights. I had to have been. Because that peak, which is maybe just a little bit under my level, I think I'm just a little bit above 7,000 feet. I believe that's peak 7097 there. I know CA Hikers mentions 7097 on his hiking blogs. His hiking videos, I should say. So I'm pretty sure that's 7097. So I'm pretty sure I was at least at one of the delights. At least at the minimum. I'm pretty sure I was at both of them. And then again, it's hard to tell which one is which. They're both close to the same elevation. I think Delight is just a sliver taller, I think. But Double Delight, I think, is pretty close in height too. It's close to 7,560 feet. Get a good view of Pleasant View Ridge from here. That's off in the center. Those are two of the peaks right there. 8248 and 8160. 8248 on the right, 8160 on the left. That I hiked over to get to Goody Coons, which is hard to see in the camera, but it's in front of 8248, and 7560, another peak, is right in front of 8160. I remember that hike very well. That was a toughie. I don't mind saying that was a really tough hike, especially on the way out, because I had a lot of elevation gain. I mean, I had more elevation gain going to the peak because I had to climb over the highest stuff from a much lower point from Islip Saddle, but it felt harder on the way back because I was already tired by the time I got to Goody Coons, because you're going up and down and up and down. Well, when you're going back to 8160 and 8248, you have ups and downs, and some very sharp ups. So that was almost 2 months ago. That was on July 1st. Again, today's August 26th. So I'm just making my way down this use trail very slowly because it's steep, but feeling good right now. I got a little tired on the ridge. I haven't been hiking that much, so I get a little tired, but climbing up that gully is what really made me tired, because it's steep. You have to climb up. Very steep slope. That gully's just down there off to the right somewhere. Alright, I'll see you down along the way for some more interesting stuff, updates, whatever comes my way. See you then. Here's an interesting thing to note. Just came by the rock I just climbed. So somehow I just came down the way I was before. Because I just remember I saw a use trail going that way. So I came down from that slope which I hiked up before. But somehow when I hiked up that slope, I ended up getting off of the use path because it's very faint and very hard to follow. So somehow I ended up going up this, and somehow I ended up going around the side of the mountain here where it was really slippery and really uncomfortable, and then ended up climbing up the steep gully to get to the ridge, to approach the ridge line. So this is the way I came from before, but I didn't realize it till just now, after I came down that slope. I saw the trail going that way, and then I saw this boulder here, the one that looks really scary from here, but like I said, you go around it and you just have some class 2 scrambling to get to it. Yeah, this is the way I came. So I'm back on the pathway where I came from. Somehow, going partly up that slope, I must have lost it and ended up going around what looked like might have been a very, very faint something, probably an animal trail, to be honest with you, now that I think about it. It ended up having to climb up a super steep gully, thinking, okay, is this the way? But now I'm back in familiar territory. I'm back on the use trail, and there's that rock. Like I said, you go around the other side, you get a good way to climb up that. It's really not that hard. It's pretty easy class 2. But yeah, interesting thing to see. Coming across familiar territory when you think you're going a different way. But just gonna keep going down this use trail when I came up before, and I'll see you along the way down. Very beautiful place. Okay, for some reason now it's unfamiliar again. I'm not worried about getting lost. The highway's just over there. If I have to do a cross-country descent, that's fine. I'm a big boy, I can do it. But now it's starting to look unfamiliar again, because I remember up until past that class 2 boulder I climbed earlier, it was not this steep. And I don't remember seeing a field of poodle dog bush over here. So somehow the use trail I'm on must connect with that road bed that I was hiking earlier. So I was thinking, once I got to that rocky outcropping I hiked up earlier, I was thinking, okay, all right, this is familiar. Well, that rock is definitely familiar. However, I don't remember the part coming up to that rock being steep. Being as steep as it is. Being like that. So, somehow, I'm on the use path, but I'm just going a slightly different way. There's your poodle dog. Eriodictyon perryi. Believe it or not, closely related to the yerba santa. And that's the plant that people use for soothing teas and stuff like that. Believe it or not. Well, poodle dog bush used to be known as Turricula perryi. Used to be Turricula perryi. Turricula. And a lot of times people still call it that. Sometimes people just call the plant Turricula. So now I'm gonna have to do a little searching. But hey, all this is doing right now, maybe delaying me a little bit from getting back to my car, but it's making this do more of an adventure than I expected. And like I said, I'm not worried about getting lost around here. I'll be fine. I know I can get back to Angeles Crest. I may have to do some cross-country moves, but I'm still along this very faint use path here. So I'm just going to keep following this. See what part of the highway I can get close to. I think it'll probably be a long stretch of the highway that I might have to walk along it for a short distance, but if I have to, that's fine. I'm not worried. Just enjoying slightly different scenery on the way back down. It's absolutely beautiful up here. A little hazier today, but look at that. Insane. I was up there. Earlier. Yeah, there are some pretty steep areas, but this is totally worth it. Totally worth getting turned around a little bit, not knowing exactly where my intended summit destinations were. It doesn't even bother me, because this is just so lovely and peaceful out here. You just have to enjoy being out here. I really highly recommend doing this portion of Waterman Mountain's ridge. I don't know if there's an official name for the ridge. If there is, I'm actually not in the loop to what the name is, but extremely beautiful area. And very happy to have been able to do this. I mean, my turnout's just over there, so like I said, getting lost and turned around is really nothing to worry about. Because I'm right by my turnout. If things get a little hairy, I could always just go down this canyon here. But I'm gonna see if this use trail continues and it does, it looks like. Probably get out, probably somewhere near Camp Glenwood, which is on the other side of the highway under Peak 6629, which is right there. That's 6629, the one in the foreground. Of course, that's Pacifico off in the background, and Gleason way off to the northwest from here. But yeah, I can see the dirt. I can see a dirt road down there. Getting lost here. Getting lost here is, you know, something that can be easily avoided by just paying attention to where the highway is. Look for this ridgeline here with 6629 and Valcrest rocks over there. I mean, if you keep them in your sight, you'll be fine. You can actually do some pretty extensive cross-country exploration if you're careful. Because, like I said, some very loose soil around here, so just be careful. Where I am right now, it's fine. It's okay. It's not too bad. But there are parts where it's steep and slippery. And I just saw a motorcycle illegally pass on a couple of tour buses. Yeah, I hate when they do that. Yeah, the buses, they should pull over when the motorcycles by. They're just creating hazards, accident hazards by doing that. But yeah, a little warm, nice and breezy, and there's Winston Peak up there, Winston Ridge, Pleasant View Ridge, and I think that peak is, I don't know the name of it, I don't think it's an official peak, but it's like 6,800 something. I've seen that on the maps. Next time I do this This has certainly been a great day. I just can't imagine spending a day off better than this. I really can't. So I'll see you in the next update. Just looking at these awesome views of these beautiful mountains. Well, just about back down. That's the dirt road I took. That's the dirt road I took for quite a while before I got up on the single use or single track, which eventually widened out to be a double track again. And then, you know how the story goes, go all the way up there. There's the Jeep. Now, time to relish the last few moments of this hike and reflect. A wonderful day. A little bit of challenge, a little bit of laid back fun. An all in all interesting day. Very happy that I came out today. I almost didn't. I said I'd have to work tomorrow. Normally I really don't do too much hiking if I have one day off instead of 2 days off together, because, you know, usually like to relax the next day and stuff like that. But hey, I was so desperate to get to a mountain range. I've been thinking about it for the last couple weeks. Never get tired of going to the mountains. Never, ever, ever. This is where I belong hiking. So, see you back down to the Jeep in a couple minutes, and then a little wrap up. Well, I'm back at the car, just guzzling a little bit of water, cleaning up, wipe some of the sunscreen off of me, some little sandy wipes. But this is the John Henge Trailhead, apparently. This is the name of this. Again, went up there last time I was here. There. So again, very rewarding hike. Very glad I came up here. And this basically wraps it up. I'm estimating it's probably a little bit under 4 miles, but I can't be 100% sure. But hope you enjoyed watching the video. I know the clips in the first half of the video were really short because I was worried about battery power, but well, see you on the next adventure. I have a weekend coming up, weekend off coming up September 8th and 9th, so that Saturday I'm definitely going to be getting into something. What yet? Don't know, but it could be a pretty substantial one. But I'll see you on the next adventure. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did.